Hmm. Hi everybody, this is American Nana. For those of you that don't know me, I usually do very few videos, and if I do, they're regarding Captain Corey at Crack in the Box or his mom Pixie, the crap goth. So I will say neither of those have anything to do with true crime. However, I am a true crime buff as well. So if you have never been to their channels, please do so. Check them out. And if you like what you see, give a subscribe. And hopefully you'll find them as enjoyable as I do. So the reason that I'm making a video and making myself look like an idiot in front of the world, well, I say world, you know, whole 5 people may watch this, but I guess I got angry. And no, I'm not anybody. I'm strictly a nobody. Okay, I have no degrees. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm a person. Mr. Hunter, Mr. Shapiro, Miss Cruel, I'm not sure of your name, I do apologize. I'd like to start off with, I'm the face of a juror. That's what I am. I'm the face of I'm the face of a potential juror in any case, right? I mean, I'm a citizen. And as I said, oh, my nose, sorry. I'm a true crime buff. So I want to say that I watched the Maya trial, and the motion that you just filed the day before Thanksgiving, your timing's impeccable, just impeccable. But I wanted to say that motion that you filed really pissed me off. JHACH. John Hopkins. A lot of nicknames now that you've picked up because of the Maya Kowalski case. The Kowalski case. So, first I'd like to say that I didn't know anything at all about the case. Nothing. I had no idea anything of the sort had happened. But just so happened that I was looking for a trial, and that one was coming up, and it was truly interesting to me.
Oh shit, where's my water?
And so I've written a couple notes, and I'm going to look funny, but I want to be transparent, 100% transparent as I read this. They're my thoughts, and because I'm not a public speaker, I'm not a YouTube creator. I'm, like I said, just a nobody. I went ahead and I kind of made myself notes. And since I'm uncomfortable and don't know where to look, you'll find that my eyes are going to be mostly on my notes because I really do have something to say. So, once again, I'm going to say straight off the jump, I knew nothing about this case. I had not seen the Netflix documentary. Usually I just shy away from that kind of stuff. I saw the brilliant recap of their work on the Depp versus Heard trial, and that was enough for me. So, the Depp v. Heard trial. After that trial is when I really paid attention to what goes on in our media. And I was extremely disappointed to find that they tried to make you think you were crazy, actually, because you would watch a trial, you felt like you were in the courtroom, and then they would do some kind of a report on it, and you weren't sure what portion of that you missed because you didn't happen to see it. You didn't happen to hear the things that they said. And they call that reporting, I guess, which now if I want the inside scoop or the inside news on something, I actually flip through my LawTube channels that I follow, because one of them will be covering it, and they cover it. They don't change anything that happens. You see the entire trial through your own eyes and make your own decisions. So, Mr. Hunter, Mr. Shapiro, for those, I understand there was a lot to do about YouTube in your filings, and I want you to know that people like me, I'm sure we're very non-consequential to you, but people like me watch them. People like me sit on juries. And this case brought a lot of attention. I bet the judgment brings a lot more attention, because I think a lot more people will be interested in watching the trial, and they will go to YouTube and they will follow the trial. And what you don't understand is a lot of us crime buffs or law nerd, where we follow cases, whatever you want to call us, our opinions, most generally on cases that we watch, are actually what the jury comes up with. It's a really unique situation, because if you think about that, if you look at that and you think about it, and you're like, wow, so they truly were judged by their peers, because the majority agrees. The majority is seeing this representation, this battle, this fight, and the advantage that we have over those sitting in the jury box are everything that the judge protects the jury from. So when the jury gets it right, as we feel, it's even more exciting. And one of the things that I often ask myself is, well, I wonder if the jurors will go back and watch anything to see what they missed, or just to listen again. I don't know the answer to that, right? But I would think if I was on a jury and it ended, that I would want to go see and go find and research everything. And in many cases, what it's going to do is just going to reinforce that, yeah, y'all made the right choice. Oh my gosh. They have to be just amazed at some of the things that they're going to hear and, and be like, wow, if we'd have known that, deliberation would have been cut in half. Things like that. Any comment that I make is my comment. It's all me. Okay. I don't know the Kowalskis. I don't know any of these YouTube creators that I'm going to talk about. I do not know the beautiful plaintiff team, Mr. Anderson, Mr. Whitney, Ms. Lawrence, nor do I know the defense, Mr. Shapiro, Mr. Hunter, Miss Cruel, I don't know. The lady that seemed like she was always having a fit, basically. So, let me get down to this because I'm going to lose people. All right, so the other thing about me as a YouTube subscriber, I guess, is I enjoy chatting about the cases that I'm watching because they're very interesting to me, and it's nice to be able to communicate with others that have the same interest. So I do like to chat about them. I can watch them alone. I don't have to watch with chat. A lot of times I can't watch with chat either because of the timing, because I also chase grandbabies, or no. In this particular case, I got very sick towards the end, and I missed all the live stream. I would catch up at bits and pieces and in time. So it was wonderful though, because hearing a friendly voice was nice. The Court TV and the Law and Crime Network and stuff like that, that's not for me because their chat's not real friendly, and it's not like it's a community feel. So that will explain maybe my reasoning and the fact explaining my YouTube. Now, I will say one of my favorite people to follow on YouTube during a trial is Lady Baker, but she didn't cover this. I don't know, and I'm not going to assume why. I think I pretty much know why, but since she wasn't covering this, then I looked for other channels that were. And I watched Lawyer You Know a lot, but he practices in the state of Florida, so I'm sure that has something to do with why he chose to have very few videos about this case. He did a few videos because he was asked to by his subscribers, and he did. But I like to follow the entire case. So in that, I'm going to say, trying to be really transparent in case you guys want to go find any of my chats in their channels, because I chatted. You're claiming that you have a problem with jury number one's wife chatting. So I just wanted to say that I'm going to be really transparent if you want to find any of my chats. So I found the Recovery Addict channel absolutely fantastic. have a blast, enjoy his coverage. And Megan Fox, she's absolutely hysterical. Followed her, love her coverage. And Law and Lumber did recaps. I watched many of those. And after the trial, as a matter of fact, after the verdict, so I'm pretty sure it was after the verdict, I found attorney Melanie Little. And she's, I love her channel. I simply recently found it. But if you find any of my chats there, it'd be after. So I just wanted to make that clear. And once again, I also want to say that these are my personal opinions, and I believe through the freedom of speech, I have the right to state my opinions, right? So here we go. As just a person who could be a juror out somewhere in America, my brain, my process, my thinking. So you see, you throw around the word bias a whole lot. A whole lot. But bias is not judgment. And I don't believe anybody on that jury stepped in with any bias. They made a commitment to that judge and to the judicial system to follow the rules. Now, judgment, once all the facts have been presented, cannot be biased, right? When you make your decision, once all the facts are in, it's a judgment. And that's how you feel. So, just in my simpleton brain, as you like to talk down to people so much, Mr. Shapiro, although you do use such a sweet voice to do so, condescending is not becoming. You may feel that you're above many things. You'll find you're not. I read anger on you a whole lot. Not very becoming. Mr. Hunter really got angry. Anyway, I'm going to ask you to not insult our intelligence. Don't insult our morals by going after a juror. You know, the funny thing is, I remember Depp v. Heard. The defense tried going after a juror then, too. I mean, it just appears that defenses, in some cases, just can't accept your losses. Right? I mean, it's like a kid throwing a temper tantrum. The decision's been made. The punishment's been handed down. But you're just going to keep throwing this temper tantrum and hope it changes the outcome. But to change the outcome, you people have to change what happened. Because from what I saw, from the evidence that was produced, you're going to get the same outcome next time. But you're going to have a harder time finding a jury that doesn't know anything about this case, that hasn't seen it on TV, and that hasn't seen all the things that the jurors were protected from, which now they've been able to see. And I hope they have watched them. So, I did watch the entire trial with different creators. And I just want to say that Megan Fox was hysterical. She truly was hysterical. And this is something that, and I don't know Megan Fox. I recently found her. It was during the Maya trial. But I can say that she is very vested in cases like this. She's done this for over 20 years. That's a commitment, folks. That's a commitment. Wanting to change a system that's broken. That's what her goal is. In this case, this outcome, yes, she rejoiced in it. Sure did. But her heart also broke for the situation. The little girl lost her mom. A little girl suffered. And the defense team, you still don't get it. You don't get it. Long before Mr. Anderson said you didn't get it, it was well obvious you didn't get it. Or if you did get it, you didn't care. So let me just say that. Sorry, my nose is starting to run. So the other thing that Megan Fox did is she allowed jokes about the witnesses. And, you know, I have to say, some channels don't allow that. Some channels don't. And that is the creator's decision. And if you watch different creators, you're going to respect different rules or different requests on how to behave in their chat. And that's fine. But if you have the rules that you don't make fun of the witnesses, you don't make fun of this or you don't make fun of that, and you just look at the facts and straight and narrow and sit up on that high horse and don't point out, please, don't point out the channels that allow people to have fun and think it's funny to vocalize some of the thoughts in their head. I try my very best to be a good person. I do. But I'm like the next guy. I can... When Miss Cruel was up there, when she would talk to that judge, if the judge ruled against her, you know what I saw? I don't think anybody made a meme of it either, but what I saw was a toddler with a rattle in a diaper and a bonnet. And when she was told no, she stomped her feet, shook the rattle, and said, "But Judge!" That's how I saw her. But nobody made a meme of that, and I'm not good in that, so I didn't. But if I could have, I would. So I just wanted to say that the creators that don't allow that, we know, we respect that. But I don't think you should throw shame at creators that do allow it. Everybody handles stress and situations differently, and laughter is a great cure for many things. No, we're not supposed to criticize if we want to get on our what we should and shouldn't do and how we should behave. But reality is, I'm a human, and there were so many of those memes on the Megan Fox show that were absolutely hysterical. And John Hopkins, that's even more hysterical. I mean, especially after hearing the testimonies. I picture the little Shopkins, and then I picture the big wolf, and there was no big wolves, just a bunch of Shopkins running around thinking they were all boss. Does that help you get it? Does that put it in a little bit better perspective? Because I don't know what else would. I don't know what else would. So, my opinion regarding the defense attorneys, please no. I'm just giving a personal opinion. I have absolutely nothing personal against you people. I don't know you. My comments are about your behavior in the trial. So, hopefully it does not help you improve your behavior. I kind of get a feeling that's just how you guys are, you know. You're used to winning, settling, not going to court, being the big dog, being the big shoe, knowing every loophole there is so that you can keep your client smelling like a rose, so to speak. Doesn't mean you're right. And it doesn't mean that we don't see what you're doing. That's what's so funny. Everybody wants to cover something up and then pretend you're not covering anything up. This is not anything I wrote down either. It's something, as I said, that's why I wrote notes, because I'm like just going to go on about this. So the other thing is, I want you to understand, I do not know the Kowalskis. I do not know the defense team. I do not know the attorneys. I do not know any of the people that testified. I mean, I know absolutely no one. And I cannot believe I don't know the notorious Jules. I mean, everybody on YouTube seems to know Jules except me. I'm a little offended by that. I like Jules. She's just never seen any of my chats, I don't think. And if she's buddy-buddy with Juror 1, I'm jealous. Because she seems to be the kind of person I'd like to talk to myself. So, these are my opinions. Hopefully I can meet the infamous Jules one day. So, this is something I want to say to John Shopkins' defense. I want you to consider that many people are now aware of the case. Many people who have not watched the trial, I'll be thinking they're going to do it because of all the publicity, because of your loss. You know, the judgment where the jury came together, the jury unanimously came to a verdict, which, by the way, if one juror had to sway all the other ones, would not have been near as quick as it was. We'd still be waiting probably. They'd still be fighting over it. I don't think there was a whole lot of fighting going on, to be honest. I think they all walked in going, hey, let's vote. Everybody voted. They knew who it was for and said, okay, well, let's get down to business and come up with the money, right? That's how I see it. And that would take quite a while. Actually, I probably would have given them more. So, I want you to just listen to the words that I'm saying. Really think about what I'm saying. Even though I'm a nobody. I'm just a nobody. So maybe you'll listen to a nobody. You'll sit there and you'll pick it apart and tell me how stupid I am or something. But maybe you'll listen to it anyway. Because I'm just saying, your jury is built of people like me. Now it's obvious because of the judgment. They listened to the witnesses. They saw the evidence. They were there for 9 weeks. I got to see more and was just hoping they would get it right, but I felt they would. So, I'm going to give you my number one opinion. This is my number one opinion. I want you to know that I have not, as of yet, finished my outside research that I do. And I don't do it to put it on YouTube. You can go back and you can look and you'll see. I just follow stuff, sit quietly behind. But, man, I'll dig into these cases at times because I want to know more. I want to know more than what I could see in court. I want to know. So, I'm not finished with my research. I'm still waiting on the IJ. But I have formed my opinion. And I can say that at this point in time, no way would my opinion change. There is nothing that you could produce or fabricate at this point, in my opinion, that would help your case at all. That's just my opinion. As a potential juror, as a human being, as an observer, as someone who sat here and he watched it. I will say, in my brain, I have no law degree, remember. I'm just a nobody. I'm sure a wife can make fun of that. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say that? I heard there was a lot of that going on as well. But anyway, back to me, since I'm the one talking. By your refusal to turn over the IJ report, do you have any idea what that says? Because I want to tell you, in my mind, it speaks absolute volumes. That report has to be so damning to the hospital that they're willing to pay whatever fines they may accumulate due to not turning it over. Now, that's how my brain goes. So that's what I would have been thinking if I was sitting on that jury and watching you dance around that IJ that just never showed up, right? Yeah. So, sometimes I just wanted to scream because I'm watching you guys, and I'm so angry because you can tell that you're doing every single thing you can to cover this up. But not only are you doing things to try to cover this up, you're disgraceful. You're disgraceful that you won't acknowledge what you did to this child and her family. And I, for one, am absolutely elated that this jury found you culpable for Beata Kowalski. As a mom and as a grandma. So, I want to make it really clear that with what I have seen, my number one question remains and will always remain, how in the hell did you people get this under Chapter 39? I don't know what your Chapter 39 is, to be honest. I'm going to have to look it up. But for you to get up there and claim that you need a not guilty verdict so that people will still continue to report, it's pretty insulting. Pretty insulting. I can't believe that you try that. Because I'm going to tell you why. So, how you were able to hide behind Chapter 39. Because when Maya was brought into the hospital and her mother was giving you her medical history and everything, you just decided, your doctor just decided that treatment was wrong, the diagnosis was wrong, the mother was lying. I mean, basically. So, these are my thoughts. The very first thing that should have been done, very first thing, is not even consider any abuse until you reached out to her treating physicians. All the information was provided to you. The family wasn't trying to hide anything. They were telling you what was going on. They were telling you what was happening. All I could think of is that if that was your child, really? If you're desperate to help your child, maybe you people have never been desperate. I wouldn't wish what happened to this family on anyone, and I certainly would never wish a child to suffer in the manner that Maya did. And I can only imagine, as a mother, just how painful that was. So this is what I would do. You see, because during your trial, I got so sick of the comment that you were covered under Chapter 39. That falls under Chapter 39. Your Honor, Chapter 39. Your Honor, Chapter 39. But Your Honor, Chapter 39. I mean, it was like, are you people for real? Are y'all for real? Chapter 39. Let me tell you what, Chapter 39 needs to be updated. I don't know how it's written, but let me just tell you right now what you should do, okay? You're presented with a patient, a juvenile patient, in a lot of pain. Although your people don't feel that she's in pain, she's in a lot of pain. Your employees don't think she's in pain. She's a 10-year-old child in pain. So your hospital is going to figure out how she's really not in pain. Now, there needs to be steps, okay? So, the very first step, the child's brought in and they're suffering from pain. And when gathering the information from the parent, I can only imagine Beata's frustration and anger and her fear dealing with you people. Just from watching y'all's behavior in this trial. No. A bunch of people who thought you were above it all, who knew it all, who was better, who knew this woman's child better. I mean, come on. You guys are medical professionals. You've gone to school. You know what's going on. Forget the fact she's a nurse. And let me just add, okay, this is not my notes, but let me just add. You people crack me up so much with your insinuation that she was providing ketamine infusions for Maya at home. Do you know how stupid you sound? How dumb you sound? Because if she herself was providing ketamine IV infusions to Maya at home, she would not have needed to come to the hospital because she couldn't control the child's pain. I guess I have a simple mind, right? I mean, that's how my mind's looking. It's going, wow. Because y'all kept trying to say that, and I kept thinking, then she would have never walked in your doors. She really wouldn't have. Why would she have? She wouldn't have walked in your doors. So anyway, let me finish this. Let me just say this. So she tried to explain Maya's diagnosis, knowing her child is in pain. They wanted to take her blood pressure. The mother knows this is going to cause Maya to hurt. Beata doesn't want that. She doesn't want her daughter hurting anymore. Do something to get the pain under control so that you can do that if you need her vitals. But don't hurt her. Not anymore. She's hurting. Help her stop hurting. So I'm sure that Beata became upset and frustrated. I have no idea what all she said or why. But I can see myself doing it. If you're not listening to me, if you're not hearing what I'm telling you about my child, here's an example for you. 35 years ago. 35 years ago. You would think times have changed, right? So 35 years ago, I had a baby girl, and she kept getting sick. I mean, folks, I'd take her to the doctor one day. He'd say, oh, she's fine, she just got a cold. The next night, I'm in the ER with her. And then she's treated, given all this breathing stuff, all this medication, and then I'm told to go see her primary doctor the next day, which I do. And I do this for months and months and months. Because, hey, I can't afford to go to just a regular doctor, right? I have to go where my insurance will pay. I am so sorry. The problem is my insurance doesn't pay real great. It's only got people that paid for, so I was kind of limited. So this one time, I was really upset, and I was arguing with her doctor. I was in the back. You know how you have the front waiting area, and you're in the back in the rooms. And I know that the people in the waiting area heard me because of the looks that I got when I walked out. But you see, I had just once again had this run with my daughter where I'd come into the doctor, said she was sick. He says nothing. That night I ended up at ER. The next day I had to come back into the doctor, and I'm telling him, look, you have to do something. You know, she can't breathe like this. It is scary. What am I going to do if she just stops breathing? And he's like, well, what do you think the problem is? I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I said, she acts like she has asthma. Kinda. I mean, I don't hear her wheeze, but what, there's something not right. Well, the doctor informs me that, okay, fine. You want me to send you someplace else? I'll send you someplace else. You'll have to drive to, and he states another town, I'm not going to say, but because he didn't feel anybody in the town we lived in other than himself was, no. It was 2.5 hours away. He wanted me to just two and a half hours away. So weren't the people in the waiting room heard me yelling at him about what an imbecile he was, that he thought I was going to get in the car with a baby, not even a year old, who couldn't breathe, and drive 2 hours away to find out why she couldn't breathe. I said, well, she's not going to make it. Are you crazy? Anyway, long story short, you end up doing what you have to do. And I took her to someone not in network, not covered by insurance, who's actually a specialist in childhood asthma, Dr. Cannell. And I'm always going to love that man. when I went in the first time, she was well, which that is just a very lucky break. We were seen, we talked, I explained what happens when I go in, what happens right before I, what I'm seeing, what happens. I go in, and then what the doctor says, and then I have to go to the hospital and all that. So we did our initial visit, and I think it was like 2 days later, I had to call the doctor, and I went in, and I think it was Dr. Starrett. He was more of a heart guy. He ended up going to a hospital, children's specialty in the heart field back 35 years ago. But he came in the room, and one of the things he did was he asked me, is this when you normally notice and take her in? And getting a little history. I'm like, yeah. I know you're going to tell me nothing's wrong with her and to take her home and what'll happen. And yeah. He goes, well, Mom, what do you think it is? And I said, I don't know. The only thing that I can think of is maybe she has asthma. I don't know. My little brother had asthma. He's 8.5 years younger than me. I don't remember if he wheezed or coughed, but I know he had asthma. The doctor listened to her, looked up at me, and he said, yes, ma'am. She has asthma. I broke down and cried like a baby. I finally had an answer. I'm going to say it took 6 to 8 months. And she was 18 months old when they finally diagnosed her. And she was on medication every day for a few years. I mean, she was a very chronic asthmatic child. So I can't imagine having a child in pain and having a medical staff not have compassion for that. And I think that's what was going on. It's really obvious because nobody believed Maya was in pain. How much compassion do you think they were showing this family that day? From their descriptions, she was a horrible brat. I don't believe their descriptions. I'm not going to say there was never a time that Maya didn't get upset or her mom didn't get upset. I know listening to these people and what they had to say, I would have been upset. So, anyway. But chapter 39 should have never even been brought in. It really shouldn't. So, the very first thing I think that would need to happen before you can ask for immunity in chapter 39 is to have a real reason that you called. And to make that call, I would think that there's a few things that you would need to do first. Number one, you had this child's medical history. Why didn't you reach out to the treating physicians? Not Sally Smith reaching out to them, mind you. Your treating physician had a responsibility to this patient, to this family. Your treating physician should have investigated, how do we help this child by getting in contact with her medical providers. If your medical treating physician did not agree with the medical professionals that were treating her, you don't go after the parents. It was so obvious that the parents were doing everything they could to help this child. They weren't hiding any of the medical information from you. You just disagreed with how they were doing it. And just because you want to get up there and you want to say this much ketamine would knock out a horse, obviously she's not knocked out. Obviously her body is reacting differently than what you consider 90% of the people to react, right? That's the problem. They're giving these doses that you think are just an exorbitant amount, yet she's walking around and she's functioning. I'm sorry, she wasn't walking at that particular point. What I'm saying is this medication had a different reaction for her than what you people have learned in your medical training. I'm going to guess it's because of the CRPS, because of the disease itself and how it affects the body. That I'm going to assume. See, my assumptions, it's okay that I can make an assumption because I'm not the medical doctor. But I would think if I was a medical doctor and I was faced with this situation, my very first reach out would be to that treating physician and the next treating physician and the next treating physician. And if I felt that those physicians were medically treating this child to where she could be harmed, I would have reported the physicians, not the mother. I don't know how y'all switched from Munchausen, because y'all were claiming Munchausen. I think you still kind of wanted to say Munchausen, but I think it was proven it was not Munchausen. So then you took out the word Munchausen. Or, I don't know, but we lost the Munchausen word. Either way you go, it doesn't matter. You people made an assumption against this mother who was doing nothing more than trying to get treatment for her daughter in pain. So that's number one. Number one. Whatever judge made that decision, I feel for him, because I don't feel he was handed all the right information. That's what I'm going to say. You know, you can only do with what you have, right? So his reports and everything that he relied on or focused on were all coming from that crooked group that had this situation. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. We had Miss Beatty, which you cleaned it up good for trial. You really did. You tried to put on a sweetness. I saw your deposition, by the way. That was enlightening. It truly was. And you know what you do is wrong. And Dr. Sally Smith, same thing. Whew. Man, your depo was something else. Your behavior in front of the jury. Such a sweet witness. Yeah, we could see right through it. But your depo? All of them. Whew. So, anyway. I want you to understand that that's number one for me. Number one is there would be no Chapter 39. None. Nope. Wouldn't have happened. So, the other thing that I find extremely irritating is that you look horrible for it. And Protection 39 was granted because of things you guys told the judge. I bet you didn't stand up there and go, you know what, Your Honor, this mother claims that they have this doctor, this doctor, this doctor, and this doctor, and this diagnosis, and blah blah blah, and we just think those doctors are just crazy, and if we could just explain to the parents and get them to understand that this is not safe. I mean, if that's how they felt, I don't know. Either way you go, this hospital disagreed with the treatment for Maya. Unknown territory. Imagine how scared her mom was. But y'all just, and you wanted to send her out of state. Oh my God. So, anyway, I'm just, the circle. I want to know who gave what information, where the information came from. I'd love to see those because, yeah, how you got away with Chapter 39. I'd tuck my tail, pay my thing, say I'm sorry, and just shush. But anyway, I know that Beata was taking names, and I know that she was trying to reach out to risk management. Higher ups, come on, people, help her out. Higher ups. But you see, the problem was nobody cared. These women, and I say women because that's what I saw, but these women, they they're horrible. They didn't care about Maya. So this is this Shopkins place, okay? You guys created the entire situation because of the fact that there's some kind of legal loophole that you were able to slime through and fall under a 39 rock. It still has me baffled. So for those of you that are watching that have, I don't know, lawyering experience or medical experience or whatever, and you're sitting there watching me going, lady, you're so dumb, that's, then maybe explain it to me. But don't try to tell me that you're hiding behind it because you want to protect the right to report. Give me a break. Your right to report. You were protected and you can report. Just make sure you do it correctly, honestly. With the facts, maybe? Like all the facts? Not just, oh, this doctor didn't believe this, we're just not going to put it in there. So, I want you to just remember, the jury is made of people like me. And as you presented your case, I saw a lot of disdain for the family. A lot of witnesses were so unbelievable with their testimony. But I will say you did have one bombshell of a witness. One that made a very big impression on me. You actually called him an expert. An expert. And his name was none other than Mr. Anderson. Poor witness Anderson. How or why he agreed to be your expert witness is beyond me. Maybe he didn't comprehend what expert meant. See, I've seen a lot of trials. I've watched a lot of experts. Some good, some not so good. I don't know how you even got him in as an expert, to be honest. But, okay, he was an expert. He was a special expert for sure. But due to his confusion, he certainly did help the plaintiffs. He really did. If I was sitting on that jury, I'd have been like, wow. You know, he even stated he didn't read all the reports that he was given. Giving them to him. That's awesome, Hunter, or Shapiro, or whoever. If you wanted to give him all the complete things that he needed, all the reports, awesome job. Awesome. Problem is, he said he didn't read them. He didn't look through them, but he did focus on what you outlined. You know, before trial, that outline. I'm really not sure, but it just kind of seemed like his outline had answers for him, or something that would help him figure out his answers that you wanted him to say. I mean, but yeah, when he claimed pretty much that John Hopkins was basically a #1 hospital, walk on water kind of folks, that kind of blew open wide that IJ report. Should have been produced. But as Mr. Hunter admitted in court, that's a dragon he locked up, buried. He buried it deep years and years ago. All I have to say is that dragon's got to be horrible for JHACH. Or else they would have turned that over. There is something in that report that JHACH does not want the public to know. That does not take a rocket scientist to figure out. It doesn't even take anybody with a degree. It's just what I like to call common sense. And my common sense says, wow, I want to know what's so bad in there. Because there's something really bad in there. Probably more than just one something from what I saw in the testimonies of these people. But I think the biggest thing is, JHACH, you still don't get it. I'm appalled that these people had to take you to court. If I'd have been on the jury, I'd have probably asked, is there any way we can reimburse the plaintiffs for their counsel fees? That, to me, they shouldn't have to pay for this. They shouldn't have had to go to trial. And to think that you got up there and you acted like Maya was just living this great, wonderful, beautiful life, never hurting. Because what? Because she went to prom. You people are just... And then you want to ask her why she's not going to see a therapist, right? You want to make a big deal about that. And for Jack as well. I mean, y'all aren't seeing anybody, not getting any counseling. Well, I guarantee you what, if you people could have gotten into my business the way you got into their business and their lives and have every single thing reported and told to you, I wouldn't have gone either. What do you... You didn't abuse them just once. You continued abusing them. You wouldn't even let her go get counseling because you had to know all about it. Don't even get me started on what I think of what you did in the time frame between the time that she was released to go home and get into court. Yeah. But your latest filing, oh my gosh. Let me just tell you. Juror number 1, an ex-law enforcement officer, swore to abide the court's rules. Do I have any reason to doubt that person? Does the judge have any reason to doubt that person? No. I believe he upheld it. And why? Because the judge got the commitment prior to which the trial began. And I believe that being an ex-LEO, he was very careful to follow all the rules. His background alone, I believe, gives him credibility that I would follow him. I mean, I would believe him. So, I think that you need to remember that just because the defense appears aggressive and shady, and I don't know, kind of like you think you're above the law, doesn't mean juror number 1 has your beliefs. If my husband were on a jury, I know we would live together too. I mean, it's kind of what you do when you're married, but let's just say that my husband was on a jury. I'm a true crime buff person, and I'm watching the trial. I'm not going to know he was on that jury. They don't use names. They don't show faces. I'm not going to know. And if he's told to not talk about something, he's not gonna. Actually, he's been on 2. One was actual medical, kind of interesting. And no, he didn't talk about it until it was over. It was really interesting. But as far as juror number 1, we all thought he was the law enforcement officer, just as the nurse that we figured out who she was as well, and we were correct. Now, when I say we, I mean those of us on YouTube, not in the courtroom, not privy to any information, who, thank goodness, we could ask. I say we. As I said, I don't know the notorious Jules, but I do know that there was a point where, we asked, the channel asked about the jurors as far as the law enforcement and the nurse, and if we were right or wrong, and she gave us confirmation. But that was us. I mean, that was us. So the bottom line is, Mr. Hunter and Mr. Shapiro, I personally feel, as I feel many people do, feel like your first step in repairing the damage done to your client by your client's behavior, a situation created by your client, actually stop and think about what you're doing. Think about what you're defending. Think about Maya's testimony. Listen to her testimony. The innocence of a child in your hospital, alone with no family. Listen to her testimony. Stop being angry at a little girl. Your doctors did this to that family. Stop being angry at the family. Accept the verdict. pretty sure it's public opinion. Take a vote. It wasn't just the people sitting on the jury, sir. I want to say 95% of the people that watched the jury knew it was going to be a guilty verdict because of the trial. Because of the trial. Because of the witnesses. Because of the proof. Because of the facts. And you were found guilty on all counts. A jury of your peers. A jury of your peers means people, just people. You know, you really need to search your souls. See if you can find any apology anywhere in there. But even if you don't feel it, you could say you're sorry. It'd be so simple too. Because there's a lot of things you guys hide. I mean, I'm not sure why you guys think that we sat here and watched this trial and thought you guys were just beat up by just wonderful testimony on the other side. No. You were beat up by the testimony on your side. The holes in it. The common sense that could be used. You need to get out of these people's lives. Maya needs to be able to go to counseling. Her dad needs to be able to go to counseling. Kyle needs to be able to go to counseling. None of which you should have any chance of getting a hold of their records. That's abhorrent. That's sickening. Why isn't Jack doing this, that, and the other? Why isn't Maya doing it? You stand there and you just don't tell people, well, if they do, I'm going to know everything they do and say. I may only be one person. I just wonder how many people, I know people are not going to sit and watch this whole thing, but I just wonder how many people actually feel like I do. You know, we're just regular people. Just regular. There's good and bad in everything. So that means there's good and bad doctors, good and bad nurses, good and bad administration. But one thing that's very clear is that at the time that this happened, you didn't have an administration in place that gave a shit, that followed up, that was the boss. These people were running around doing what they wanted. That's what they were doing. They were running around doing what they wanted. So, I don't know why that's doing that, but it didn't matter. Anyway, I just wanted to say, and maybe I'll put this up and take it down in a few days and try a short one. But I just want to say, JHACH, attorneys, Mr. Hunter, Mr. Shapiro, please know that your insensitivity is still front and center. So the fact that you filed this the day before Thanksgiving, and I'm no judge. I'm just going to hope you don't have a legal ground to stand on. And if you do have a legal ground to stand on, it's going to make me absolutely sick. But I don't think anything will change a verdict of your peers with the evidence that you have presented. And this family should not have to pay for another trial. Juror number 1 did not lose this case for you. You, JHACH, you. Your strategies, your lack of empathy, your ridicule, your facial expressions. It was easy to tell what you felt for this child. That was a bad show. And the fact that you all acted like children, not getting your way, really shows that y'all really do find yourselves the highest above, don't you? I think it would be a really wonderful way to start off the New Year's to just drop this. I know you guys aren't going to agree, but one could wish for a miracle for this family, which would be, let this be over. The facts are the facts. I'd say count your blessings that you were even allowed to use Chapter 39. That's what I say. Because I would also say you shouldn't be able to. What you did was abuse Chapter 39. And the more people that abuse Chapter 39, the less people that need it are going to receive it. That needs to be changed. Whatever is in that law that allowed you to do what you did, that's what I'd be looking into. It would be changed. And there would be major steps of checks and balances before you could ever do this to another family again. You can't just not like somebody and just not like their treatment and think that you're the all-powerful, because you're not. And what you allowed Beatty and Smith to do in your hospital, I can imagine. I can imagine the wards and the people talking. The most hideous thing in the world is the nickname that you gave this child. And if you still think that no way you should have been found guilty for Beata's taking her own life, I can totally understand how you drove her to what she did. I can also totally believe that if Beata were still here, they'd probably still be fighting to get Maya back. Especially after hearing you wanted to ship her off to another state. I think that you really need to think hard about what you want to do. Because the more that you push this, the more that people are going to dig and find out as much as they can on your hospital and as much as they can about anyone who has suffered at your hands. And they may not can win dollars from you, but they can come forward and say, JHACH did this to me, or this to me, and people can start listening. And if you people can't care any more now than you did back then, I'd be going to a different hospital myself. I wouldn't be coming to you if I live locally. And that's really sad for those doctors employed by you that are in it for the right reasons and would never have allowed something like this to happen, would have stopped it immediately. There's a lot of good doctors, a lot of good nurses. A lot of good ones. But the stuff that's come out on your hospital and what you did to this child. In the United States of America, this kind of a nightmare for trying to get treatment for your child is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. I don't get it. I don't get it. So, that's what I wanted to say, and I'm sorry, I'm looking at my timer. It's an hour and 22 minutes, which means maybe 5 people will watch 10 minutes of my video, which means it's not going to do very good. So, I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to just be just a nobody, you know. You can go after attorneys, and you can cite all these other people in your motions that you want to do, but you're so wrong. And I'm just trying to tell you from someone who watched the entire trial. What you guys are doing is wrong. And I've watched a lot of trials. I don't just actually dislike the side against whichever side I'm on. I don't dislike groups of attorneys just because of who you're representing. I understand everybody gets representation. I do. Funny thing is, I used to always think that the truth sets you free. I still believe that. The truth sets you free. But you bigwigs, you great big companies, hospitals, who think you're above, and people that come and use your facilities for whatever reason. Rather ironic, in my opinion. My heart breaks for the Kowalskis, even now. I think more so even now. Because they don't have privacy. And they haven't had privacy. But you don't hear a lot of that, do you? But you keep making your accusations. Because the more you keep fighting this, the more the YouTube creators are going to find on you. And they don't discriminate. If they like you and they find it and it's not good for you, they're still going to show it. Guess what? Because they show the facts. You see, we're not your mainstream media. And the people that follow them don't follow mainstream media. We're becoming a group of people that really, we just want the truth. I'm just thankful that we're allowed to view these trials. Because the truth of this one, no. Oh yeah, and the other thing at the defense table, your fits, your facial expressions, none of that went by the wayside. I mean, I like the fist bumps when y'all thought y'all got your way. That was rather embarrassing, but I want to go, ooh, 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 when Jack said no. Huh. Anyway, that's really all I'd say. I just don't know how to end the video. So, for any of you that stuck to the end, please go to Crack in the Box. It's KRAKENTHEBOX. Crack in the Box. That would be Captain Corey's channel. And then the Crap, CRAP, Goth, GOTH, would be his mom Pixie's channel. And check them out. If you like them, hit subscribe, and hope you enjoy. And that's really all I have to say. I hope you go down, JHACH. If this is what you're gonna do, then I hope you go down. And if you think for 1 minute that there's not another hospital equipped to help these children in need, if you do go down, you're incorrect. So by your claims of don't destroy us and please don't do this, please don't do this, first of all, you have insurance, we know that. So your finances, I'd have found another person to do that as well, but you know, your choice of who you can get to lie for you or say what you want to say or whatever. I mean, you really have shot your reputation. So that's you know, that's yourself. You shot that reputation. Pretty bad for the those of us that were watching. Just in case you're curious. But to act as though there's not another hospital that would step up and be able to provide care for the children that you provide care for is incorrect. Just saying. You're not the savior of the medical field down there. And with your track record that I've seen, I wouldn't come to you. So I'd really try to rebuild my reputation. And in rebuilding it, I would say, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. And we're going to do everything we can to never let this happen to another family. And write the check. Promise them that you'll stay out of their lives. And let them move on. For Pete's sake, let them move on. So, for those of you that listened, I'm sorry I'm boring, but thank you. And if anybody knows anything we can do to help, write a letter, call anybody, let us know. Because we're right here. We're right here. And Mr. Anderson, Mr. Whitney, Miss Lawrence, thank you. Thank you for being the kind of people you are and for caring so very much for Maya and the family. And Kyle, when I say Maya and the family, that includes you. I should just say the Kowalskis. I hope you're all able to be let go from this soon. This should not still be in your lives. To me, that's a continued abuse by this hospital. That's just my opinion. I think that they're still abusing you. And I'm so sorry for what you had to go through, all of you. I know many people's hearts hurt for you all. And I know that you're in a lot of prayers now. I wish nothing but the best for you all. I want to thank anybody that watched for watching. Have a good day. Oh, one more thing. I know Megan Fox won't watch this whole thing, but if you are, the curl has gone down. It's kind of late today, but Megan said we should cut our hair. And then when I said, but I have long hair, I like long hair, she's get it a trim. So I went down and I got a long feather and I like it. But if I want to wear it straight and do nothing and just put it in a ponytail, I can, which 98% of the time it is. However, I can also curl it and make it look cute. So, I'm just saying, Megan Fox, thank you. Y'all have a good one.